Well, it was a surprise. There you see Cardinal Dolan talking about it. Pope Benedict XVI saying he will resign effective February 28th, and that will start a conclave to pick a new pope in Rome sometime before Easter. Here's what the letter from Pope Benedict said. The resignation letter, quote, "In today's world, subject to so many rapid changes and shaken by questions of deep relevance of the life of faith, in order to govern the bark of St. Peter and proclaim the gospel, both strength of mind and body are necessary, strength which in the last few months has deteriorated in me to the extent that I have had to recognize my incapacity to adequately fulfill the ministry entrusted to me. For this reason, and well aware of the seriousness of this act, with full freedom I declare that I renounce the ministry of Bishop of Rome, successor of St. Peter, entrusted to me by the cardinals on 19 April 2005. Pretty amazing. We welcome in a special panel tonight to talk about this resignation. Kathryn Lopez is with National Review Online. She talked with the Pope about women last fall. We'll talk about that. David Kerr is a Vatican correspondent with EWTN, a global Catholic media network based in the U.S. And Stephen White is a fellow in the Catholic Studies program at Ethics and Public Policy Center here in Washington. I think we can get out of the way that everybody here was shocked and surprised when they got the news this morning. First, you talked with Pope Benedict, and you had a conversation about women, that experience, and then you get this news today. What about that?
Well, yeah, no, it's obviously shocking, but it also, it's totally consistent in keeping with I think this Pope and sort of what we need right now. I mean, there's a lot of talk about renewal and new evangelization and church talk, right? But something bold needed to happen. I think that's what you see here. And the boldness is, you know, I saw him in October, I saw him in December. There was a conference in the Americas. And bottom line, if people don't encounter Christ, and if you people who are leaders in the Catholic Church, so to speak, who are the people gathered, if you haven't encountered Christ, if you're not living a pure, holy life, and rigorously so, but joyfully so, then, you know, the rest of these programs and things don't matter so much. You've got to get that right. And I think today in that statement, you see a window into a Pope's prayer life. And, you know, when I met him in October, I thanked him. It wasn't the most creative thing in the world, but I thanked him for Jesus of Nazareth, the series that he's written, 3 books now. And he gave me this sort of knowing look of appreciation, like, yeah, you get it. This is about Jesus. This isn't about me. And that's what that statement is today. I think that's what's happening.
So, you know, there are people out there that say there's more to this, and they, you know, obviously the people who look at the Catholic Church and with skepticism, but they don't fully know about the Vatican, and there are a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about the Vatican. You've covered this for a long time. Your thoughts about this process and what this means today for the Catholic Church and going forward?
It's been a day where every adjective has been bandied about. Incredible, sensational, unbelievable. I mean, I think you have to be over the age of 550 to have experienced this before in terms of the news agenda. But in a way, in terms of what it means for the Catholic Church, it's a remarkably unsensational, sensational day. The reality is that whoever follows Pope Benedict XVI, Joseph Ratzinger, as the successor of Peter, it's not like the change of a leader of a political party. It's not like a debate of a change in policy in the GOP or the Democratic Party. Whoever succeeds him as the next Pope will continue with the same gospel of the same Jesus Christ, the same teachings on matters of faith and morals. And that's why, to some extent, it's a remarkable day, but it's an unremarkable day because the teachings of the Church will remain consistent and uncontradicted from one Pope to the next.
But do you think that the Church, and we heard Cardinal Wuerl talk about this earlier, that there is a need to kind of reach out, a need to have some kind of newness, something that Kathryn talked about there?
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think that's kind of the point here. I mean, if the job of the Pope was just to be theologian in chief, or to sit and continue to write the excellent books he's been writing, but if that was enough, then I don't think he would be resigning. I think he realizes that the ministry that he was called upon to fill is one he can't fulfill anymore, because he can't live a life of apostolic vigor like that position needs. And what I mean by that is that the Pope isn't just a figurehead, right? He's an apostle. He's a successor to the apostles. He's an apostle, and his job is to go out and to spread the gospel. If he can't do that, then he needs to step out of the way and allow someone else who can to do that. And so I think that this resignation shows his understanding of what his job as Pope is, and that this is not a management job. This is a job of spreading the truth of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, Kathryn?
Yeah, I know it's not a management job, and at the same time, too, there's reform, as our friend George Weigel writes about in this new book, Evangelical Catholicism, which is almost like a blueprint for what to do next. He talks about the reforms that need to happen in bureaucracy, too, on a practical level. And when you're of the age of Pope Benedict and your doctor is telling you can't travel and there are all these restrictions, well, that's part of this picture, too. Getting the newness, the new blood in, and somebody who really knows and wants to take the reins and help reform. You see in the papal butler story and all these stories, there are a lot of problems to be fixed in addition to the teaching that needs to happen. And he'd be an awesome theologian to say as Pope, but there's more to it, as Stephen says.
Yeah, and we start this process quickly about this conclave, and this is part of the mystery that I was talking about. You know, locked in the Sistine Chapel, and we wait for the white smoke, and we'll be covering it because 1.2 billion people, Catholics, will be watching it intently, obviously, as will the rest of the world. This is a pretty amazing process as you look at it to choose the next pope, and it's happening during a Lenten season before Easter.
It's incredible. The euphemism "a pilgrim people" is often applied to the Christian Church, the Catholic Church, as it makes its way through Lent, but never before in such a global way has this been manifested, as people will be giving up whatever they're giving up over the next few days, whether it be drink or alcohol, and uniting themselves to whoever will be elected as the successor to Pope Benedict. It's the oldest continuing institution in the Western world. It still attracts great interest and mystery. I'm sure people will be tuned to Fox and EWTN over the next few months as it all unfolds to see who emerges as the successor. But as I say, it's not like the change at the head of a political party. The teachings of the Church will remain consistent and faithful to Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Stephen, David, Kathryn, thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat.
Special panel. Next up, our regular panel on the State of the Union.